that's interesting. Huh. Yeah. Definitely had a little coolant leaking into the oil passages. And probably a little coolant leaking into number 3 here, because it looks really clean. That's all minor stuff. Yeah, I think I had a bit of head gasket leakage going on there. Whoopsie doodles. You know, now that I think about it, after a couple of runs, I could hear the overflow bubbling a little bit. I could definitely do it. It wasn't substantial, but it was enough. Well, guys, I got it apart. I'm not really sure where to go from here. So I pulled all the main caps, put them back on just temporarily. But yeah, I pulled all the main caps. Bearings look great in the main caps. I didn't really look at the top of the top bearings, but the bottom ones look great. And usually the bottom ones are the ones that are going to take the most abuse. They look fine. As far as the pistons and rods, I'm not seeing a whole lot of evidence that's there's no smoking gun here, you know. I was expecting one of these rods to be real loose, and there's really no play other than, you know, your typical side to side play, but there's no, I guess there's a, I guess there could be a little in that guy, but it doesn't feel like much. It doesn't feel like enough that I'd be able to hear it while it's running. And this one is tighter. But not really. I mean, these pistons look great. I mean, there's no signs of detonation. Other than, like I said, a little scuffing on the skirt, but that's to be expected when you run really loose tolerances. I'm not feeling anything. I mean, this... like I'm really tempted just to put it back together with the parts that I know work, you know. No signs of detonation, nothing. Bearings look good. They're decent enough, you know. Must have had some contamination in this one. This one's kind of scratched a bit, but it's not bad. It's not horrible. Yeah, they don't look bad. I don't know. No smoking gun. So, one thing I did discover was I think I had a head stud or two that was loose, and so I had some coolant or some oil leaking into the coolant passages. And I kind of noticed it when I looked at my coolant, and it was it gotten really dark, you know. God, I'm amazed at like I can still see the crosshatch from when it came from the machine shop 4 years ago. I mean, I bought a hone, but it doesn't even look like it needs to be honed. There's some vertical scratches, probably from some junk in there, but nothing I can catch a nail in. But yeah, the crosshatch is still visible. I don't freaking know, guys. I don't know what that fucking knocking noise was. Here I am, engine completely disassembled, and no signs of destruction. Very peculiar. Yeah. I don't know. Alright, so starting on some of the main engine disassembly here. Alright, so basically what I'm doing now is just breaking down the pistons. Keeping the rings on and everything. Something I have noticed is after, you know, getting the oil and everything out of there, there is a little bit of play. If you can hear that. I don't know if that would cause a knock. Possibly, you know. It's happening fast enough, I could see it happening, but they're definitely a little loose. They're all that way. I also had to hammer the pins out. They're stuck in the pistons. And I remember when I put them together, they slid right into the piston, so you know, some tolerance has changed somewhere. Pro tip for when you're removing these Wiseco Jesus clips, there's these little C clips that keep the there's these little C clips that keep the rings or the pins in. As you're prying them out, take a rag or something, cover up the area, because they like to go flying once they come loose. You may need to rotate them around to a there we go. That way it's captive, doesn't go flying anywhere. Like I said, when I put these together, they all pushed in. That one moved a little bit. Oh, this one might actually come out. Nah, it's not. I'm just going to use a socket or a extension, the soft end of a hammer. It's going to Once again, these Harbor Freight tool organizers, amazing for this kind of stuff. A little bit of scuffing on the pin. I'm assuming that's normal. They all look about the same. What I can tell you, oh, it doesn't look bad. Yeah. So all these look about the same. The wear pattern inside is kind of irregular. Potential candidates for 2.0 here. Max rods. And they fit about the same. Really not much of a difference. Yeah, I mean, they all fit about the same. And a new one. It's pretty tight. That one's super loose. Yeah, that is really super loose. That's no bueno. Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing. So, when you look in here, I don't know how well you can see in there. Probably not very well. Autofocus is on, yeah. But maybe if you can see in there. Very uneven wear pattern, and that's probably because I honed these with like a brake cylinder bore. You know, that's all I had. Actually, no, I used a piece of sandpaper on a just, you know, a rolled up piece of sandpaper, and just kind of hand reamed it to make these fit a little better. And I think I reamed them out a little too much, or I reamed them out unevenly. They all have the same. They've been riding on the high spots inside. So yeah, they're all a little loose. Whether or not that would cause a noise, I don't know. But before I reuse those, I would like to have those bushings replaced. So I'm probably gonna go with the max speeding rods. And also, even though the Weiscos look fine, except for number 3, it's got a little, I don't know if you can see that, you can focus. I don't know why autofocus doesn't seem to want to be. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Alright. So there's a couple little chips in there. Possibly detonation. It looks more like possible debris. Could be detonation. Just a couple. And on the edge there. I mean, I would reuse these if I had to, you know, but I think they're fine. But I have another set of pistons that are, I got these CP pistons over here, which are higher compression. You can see the, hey! Nope. Hey, bro, come on. Freaking cat trying to steal some cat food. So anyways, yeah, these are higher compression. You can see these are dished for the most part, and these have that slightly raised bar there. So these are 9-to-1. These are 8-4-to-1. So extra point of compression, you know, that'll help it build boost a little better. So, but yeah, like I said, other than that, there's really no damage to anything. Everything looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty clean. A little scuffing on the tops of the piston skirts. You can definitely, I would almost guarantee you this is all from cold start condition type stuff, you know, where things haven't expanded and it's rattling a little bit. A little bit of debris in there, probably because I don't change my oil nearly as much as I should. So that would be something I will do next time around, is change the oil more regularly. The other thing so far that I've noticed, this head gasket looks absolutely horrible. Yeah, this head gasket looks pretty bad. It was reused a couple of times, but she is toast. I actually had a little bit of a coolant leak. Had coolant meeting oil. Actually, you can see a little bit of debris residue there between 3 and 4. So it was definitely leaking. I might have lifted the head a little, be my guess maybe. Head studs probably weren't as tight as they could have been. So I think I might have lifted the head between 3 and 4. Had a little oil mixing with coolant. Also noticed that when I pulled the coolant out of the car, the coolant was very, very brown and very dark. Like very opaque, you know? Not very clear at all. So definitely something had gotten in there and contaminated. It wasn't just regular rust water. It was, that would explain why the car lost some mile an hour when the boost went up. It's just lifting the head probably. So, good time to do this. Anyways, I'm gonna start pulling this block down a little bit more. I'm not gonna strip it down completely, but I am going to at least get the timing belt off and get some of this stuff off, and start cleaning this guy up. Alright, so head looks great. I don't see anything that looks concerning. Valves look good. Valves still aren't sealing. You know, if I shine a light, look down the ports, I can see light. I knew that was an issue. Compression, you know, doing compression tests told me that that was an issue. Pretty much all the valves, intake, exhaust, across the board, they all leak a little bit. I think 2 and 3 leaked the worst, but so I'll be sending the head out, having that done, having a valve job done. That'll be the probably the most expensive thing. I had to order a new clutch disc. Block is torn down. You can still see the crosshatch. If I can get down there. But yeah, you can still see the crosshatch and the cylinder bores. So there are some vertical marks from the piston slap, but nothing that like I can catch a nail on or anything. I did buy a hone. Well, that one actually felt kind of rough. Yeah. So I'll probably take the crank out and actually hone it. Bought a ball hone. So take the crank out, hone the block. Clean up all the gasket stuff. Probably repaint it and everything. And then we can start the reassembly part. But once again, before I do that, since I've made another mess, I need to arrange all these parts get them put away in safe places so that they're not kind of everywhere. And basically just do some housekeeping. Probably temporarily put the transmission back together so it's not sitting here open and exposed. I have to go to Orlando to get some parts for the transmission, because like I said, I'm going to try and rebuild it to a taller ratio. And yeah, probably the only other thing I need to order is I need to order a fluid dampener. That's what the big thing I need to do while it's apart, because it's been running the stock dampener this whole time, and revving it to 8,500 probably isn't the smartest thing to do on a stock dampener. So alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the crank out of this guy, take a look at the main bearings and all that stuff. Decided I bought new main bearings, so I might as well just put new main bearings in. There's no point in pulling it this far apart only to reuse anything. You know, there's really, if you're at this point, you might as well just go the whole way. So, not seeing anything that looks bad. Once again, continuing trend is just a little bit of dirt, I guess, you know, maybe a little bit of contamination. But overall, they look great. The bearings don't look too bad. Yeah, the bearings don't look too bad. Looks like some contamination, some dirt got in there. Some minor scratches. Pop this crank out of here. Take a look at the tops of these bearings. There goes the thresh washers. Thresh bearings look great. Like absolutely no wear on those, so that's good to know. I was worried that high pressure clutch pressure plate was gonna wear those bearings out pretty bad, but everything looks great. Yeah, these look great. I mean, I really would reuse these if I didn't have another set already. But I just figure since I'm in here, might as well replace them, but I don't, there's really no reason to. Yeah, like I said, these bearings, they all look great. The bottoms of them are a little more worn, but that's to be expected. Like I said, we got some grooves in there, but those grooves are most likely due to dirty oil, and that is 100% my fault. Because despite what everyone tells me, you know, after every track trip you should change that oil, and I never do. So on the next build, I will be a lot more diligent about after every track day or every other track day, I'm going to change the oil. As you can definitely see the effects. Alright, I'll start cleaning this guy up a little bit.
Anywhere you go, give it up. Anywhere you say,
Alright, so at this point, I basically just have a lot more cleaning to do, a lot more prep work. And then I think the next video I'm going to start on measuring the block, measuring bearings and all that stuff. Then I should be able to just throw this guy back together, assuming what I measure checks out and is good. Yeah, that'll be it for tonight, I think. Till next time.